In DC, for DC. DC Radio, 96.3 HD4 and DCRadio.gov. Welcome to Choppin It Up with Chook, with one of the music industry's most respected musicians. Get ready for an intimate, one-on-one conversation and performance with one of today's most talented artists. Now, here's your host, multi-instrumentalist, composer, producer, and engineer, Antone Chooky Caldwell.
What's going on, everybody? You are tuning in to Chopping It Up with Chook. How are you all doing today? I hope you're doing well. It's a beautiful day. The sun is not out yet, but it might come out. Might show its face a little later. I'm so happy today. You asked first and foremost, what is Chopping Up with Chook? I done turned on and I'm listening and I don't really know what it is. Chopping It Up with Chook is a platform where I, Antone Chooky Caldwell, I invite in local, national, and international guests to come and we just have a sit-down one-on-one where we just chop it up. At the end, there's some surprises. I don't ever want to give it away. But, yeah. So welcome. This is Headphone Lounge and DC Radio sponsored. So I want to give a shout-out to everyone like Mr. Max Myrick and Shane, the engineer who's making sure everything goes well. Kiana, Jazzy Girl, thank you so much for the connect. And of course, in the studio is Miss Malika Jackson Caldwell. And yes, she is here and she's helping to make sure everything goes on point. So, right to business. Today is an important day because I got my brother in the studio. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you all might know him as the voice sensation. The voice sensation. That's almost a tongue twister. You got but the Terrence Cunningham is in the studio today. What's going on, brother?
What up, man?
If you all don't know what they say, go and do your homework. But this is what this show is for. And so, Terrence, tell us a little bit about yourself, brother. I know people can go and Google you, but what better way than to have you here?
Yo, first of all, man, I'm really grateful that you would consider me as one of the inaugural artists that you have on this show. Absolutely. And of course, you and I go back and we'll get into that.
This is episode 2, brother.
Episode 2. And you and I have been friends well over 20 years, yes, man. Indeed. But I am a DC-born, Maryland-raised singer, musician, artist, songwriter. I grew up in the church playing, as you know, and when I was very young, my mother was the choir director, so obviously every solo went to me, whether I wanted to do it or not. Since I think I was 3.
Really?
When I had my first one, I remember they said that I started crying because people were laughing because it was adorable, and I thought they were laughing because I was white,
Wow.
And I started on piano. My father, they got me a keyboard also when I was around 3, and he pecked out Little Red Corvette and looked at me and said, "Can you do that?" And I did it verbatim.
Wow.
And so they knew from then on, and they've continually perpetuated my music career ever since then.
You know what's crazy? What's amazing is, like you said, we've known each other for some years.
Yeah.
But it takes sometimes opportunities like this, we're like, wow, I didn't know that, you know what I'm saying? You think you know so much about a person until you have a chance to sit down and really just have to chop it up.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Terrence, another thing that I learned when doing my research on you, brother, is your aunt or great aunt? Or?
Yeah, my great aunt is the late great folk jazz legend Etta Baker.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
And what's interesting about that, man, is when growing up, her and my great grandmother, her sister, would sit on the porch and play music. So I just thought that they were good at the guitar, but I didn't know that they were famous, and I didn't know that my aunt was extremely famous.
Gotcha.
Even there were songs written about her, and she grew up in Caldwell County, in in North Carolina, and man, it was really something that I really cherished throughout my life, because therein became the responsibility to then, take the torch.
Gotcha.
And I didn't know that she was famous until I was, I think, well in my 20s. I just thought, well, that's my aunt and she likes to play the guitar and she's dope. So, yeah.
That is crazy. So listen, I got a little surprise. So at this point in time, we're going to get back into some more conversation here on Chopping It Up with Chook, with the Terrence Cunningham. But right now, I wanted to pay homage. I was doing my research and I was listening to a lot of tunes. One Dime Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, for those of you all who don't know and have not, I guess, learned the whole atmosphere that is even in this place, you got to understand. So we come from, myself and Brother Terrence, we come from like musical background.
Absolutely.
And like you said, once you have an opportunity to acknowledge, wait a minute, I have a torch that I have to carry.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but then we've been gifted and blessed with the tools to be able to carry it, and it's not a struggle.
Right.
It comes naturally to us.
Naturally, yeah.
So, like I said, when I was, listening to some stuff and then I ran across One Dime Blues, I said, I'm going to love to play this on the show. So I'm going to play a little bit of this. This is One Dime Blues. It was in 1956 by, it's Piedmont Blues? I was looking at a whole bunch of stuff, learning a lot, brother.
Yeah.
So listen, right here on Chopping It Up with Chook on DC Radio, this is One Dime Blues. There you have it, One Dime Blues by the late great Miss Etta Baker.
Yes, indeed.
So did you have a chance to
No, we never played together.
Gotcha.
She lived to, I think, 93, 94.
Gotcha.
But her living in North Carolina and me living pretty much here in DC, we never really had the time to jam out. Because I knew her, but I really knew her later in her life.
Got it.
And I don't think she was playing anymore at that point.
Got it. You know, when I was searching, it was saying Caldwell County. I said, we might be related after all.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, So I am learning that when they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, we would just listen to that song. It's like so soulful and the changes.
Yeah.
And, stuff like that. But then, hearing you, and then, your substitutions when you play.
Absolutely.
And we're about to get into it in a moment. First and foremost, I know the question that everybody wants to know is, how was it with your whole The Voice experience?
The Voice is what every artist, I believe, needs, and that's a platform. Mm-hmm. And you get the opportunity to exercise what, your craft in front of millions of people. And, hats off to everyone over at NBC Universal, because they treated us as stars. I mean, They pulled out the red carpet every time, from our drivers to our makeup people, our wardrobe people, the staff, the coaches, Alicia, Blake, Adam, and Kelly. Mm-hmm. Everybody was just wonderful, man. And for me, especially because of my level of musicianship, I was afforded the opportunity to music direct not only all of my music, but some of the other contestants' music as well.
See, that's a fact that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah. Amber Sawyer, who is a fantastic singer, she did a version of Shape of You that I arranged. She took it to the band and she said, well, Terrence arranged this. And they were like, well, yeah, if he did it, then we'll play it.
Wow.
And she ended up being the last person to get on Kelly Clarkson's team.
Wow, brother.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Thank you, man.
Yes, indeed. So more things on our resume.
Yeah.
Right. So what are you doing now?
I'm working towards recording now. I'm still in the fray and in the cloud of the celebrity that's brought on by that show. So in that, it's my responsibility now to return the investment that people made in me for voting, for sharing, for posting, for doing all these things. So I'm in the market now for some new producers, new songwriters, you included, obviously.
Oh, man.
And so that's what I'm working on right now.
Man, that's a great thing. So for those of you all, if you just didn't happen to experience the Voice episode with Brother Terrence Cunningham on there, and it was so surreal because it was one of the few times where all four chairs turned around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was just like, not only that, but I was like, I know this guy. I mean, I really know this guy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But you did a rendition of My Girl.
Yeah.
That was absolutely breathtaking.
Oh, thank you.
Did that concept?
Yeah, so the story behind that is two good friends of mine got married about 3-4 years ago.
Got it.
And she wanted me to sing her down the aisle. So I said, of course. And she said, I want to come down the aisle to My Girl, but can you sing it slowly?
Wow.
And at first, I was like, how am I going to do that? And I said, sure. So I went back, sat at the piano for a while and started plucking around, and that that came out. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's dope. And so I did it at the wedding, and it went off flawlessly. And with The Voice, they send you about 400 songs from which to choose for your blind audition. I mean, you don't walk up there. I mean, clearly the band knows your music. So there's some stuff that happens before.
Got it.
What you all saw was shot 4 months prior.
Got it.
So, and so My Girl was on that list. I said, well, I know this song. And the blessing of it, man, was they sent me an email. They said, you know what? We kind of see you just sitting at the piano playing My Girl in your own rendition. I had done that a year ago.
Why
but they
did
didn't know
say
that? And so I said, oh, well, I got that.
Right, off to the races.
Yeah, so I had no idea that it would have such a massive, literally global effect. I've had parents from other countries send me messages, single fathers mostly.
Wow.
Because, that song was dedicated to my daughter.
Right.
And they said, you're really giving credence to the fact that there are Black fathers and fathers in general that actually care.
Absolutely.
Whether they're with the mother or not. And they were, saying, well, thank you for letting people know that we're here and we're proud and we're needed. So that's what the song was really based about. And I think, sonically it sounded great, yeah, but I think the heart behind it is what pricked the hearts of people around the world. And I think that's why the song went over as well.
Absolutely, man. We can tell clearly that you were coming from a very sincere and just vulnerable place.
Yeah.
And then, but then the musicality and then the approach to it. I'm going to stop talking about it. I want to play Terrence Cunningham's version of My Girl that was live on The Voice. Yeah. And it changed our lives.
Wow.
And hopefully it'll do the same for you.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here on Choppin' It Up with Chook, DC Radio.
I've got sunshine on a cloudy day, and when it's cold outside, yes, I've got one well, I guess you say what can make me feel this way.
In like 30 seconds. Woo!
I've got so much honey, the beats envy me. Oh, I've got a sweeter song than the birds and the trees. Yeah. Well, you'd say, what can make me feel this way? My girl.
Yeah.
Talking about my girl. Oh.
Hey, Terrence, can you push your chair in? I can see the salad in your shot.
OMG. The whole atmosphere, even in the studio, has changed. It's just like,
Yeah.
So, brothers, I got a question. So, with that, I know that you mentioned before, like your daughter is a lot of inspiration for what you do. So, So what or who, I want to, open that question up to you. But what inspires you? Where do you get your motivation from?
Wow, man. I think for the artists, man, we live in a world that what I call civilians don't. And clearly no one knows this more than you. And you draw it from everything. You draw it from situations. You draw it from relationships. You draw it whether they're casual, romantic, or what have you. And, of course, growing up in church, I'm a huge advocate for, things of God and things like that. So that's why I had that warm pad under the song, under the piano. I had it layered to kind of conjure that whole spirit-filled feeling, which is something I've been doing all of my life, honestly. And inspiration comes from everything. It comes from something you see, something you watch, a movie, out in real life, just simple contemplation. And I don't think there's much that we don't draw inspiration from, because being the artist it's not really a choice, but you've been chosen. Right. So your view of everything is centered around art and love and, enjoyment and things like that. So it just comes from everywhere, honestly.
Right. And you know what? And like we say, we're chopping it up here, 101. It's really unscripted, But I want to say, so everyone can hear, I am so very, very proud of you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
And I remember, like I said, years ago, so we're going back, the way me and Terrence met.
Circuit City Express.
How about that? That's what Circuit City, when they had it, Circuit City.
Yeah, Pentagon City.
I was working at Circuit City Express at Pentagon City. I was assistant manager there. And it was one day I was on duty and, we had like the little, like the keyboards in the, on the showroom floor. And so me being a musician and anything live is just going to automatically just take my attention.
Right.
I won't forget, I was dealing with a customer and you started playing and I literally totally forgot everything I was doing right then and there. And I said, what were we talking about? I got the lady's receipt in her hand. I think she was getting a refund.
Oh,
I was about to and so I took care of her and then walked over and that was the beginning of just a great relationship, brotherhood.
Absolutely.
I know that we started doing some gigs together, like Charles Butler and Trinity and stuff like that. And, and then I know at that time I was traveling a lot. It was such a blessing to see come back and see how you had opened up the opportunities for yourself.
For sure.
Because I believe that, it says opportunity plus preparation equals success.
Absolutely.
So, a lot of people, it's not a coincidence that, you know what I'm saying, that you got, it's an absolute blessing, but you did do certain things in your journey to set you up.
Oh, man. I mean, I have to say, I remember that day very, very vividly. And I think you were touring with Cisco at the time. And you had the gospel group Royal Priesthood.
Good God Almighty. That was years ago, brother.
Right. Yeah. And I have to say, man, under your tutelage and mentorship, it's made me the musician I am today.
Oh, wow.
I remember when my mom used to bring me to your apartment and you had this the 2-bedroom joint with the first room was a studio. And you used to take me to rehearsals, Warren Jones.
Yes.
And I would just study under the two of you because I was so just enamored with how well you all played. I mean, drums, bass, keys, the entire gambit, lead guitar, rhythm guitar. And so it was really, I owe a lot of my success, the voice included, to you, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate that. I'm here to tell you, dude, that you have taken it. And my dad always tells me, he says, it's one thing to introduce, something to anybody. He said, but the real thing is when they are able to take it further.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's really because music is ever evolving. You've been traveling the world, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's the one universal language that we can communicate in when we can't communicate in our own, verbal language.
Absolutely.
It's amazing, being in Japan and stuff like that and seeing these people just so enamored by what's going on, what we're doing. Yeah. And, if I'm not behind this instrument, I'm on Google and say it, or how do I say, But we've seen, and all of us here in the District of Columbia, the musician circle that we come from, man, when I saw that, so I can tell you, I think I sent you a video clip. Man, I walked outside when I saw you, My Girl, audition for The Voice, and you did that song. I was outside, and man, tears just started coming down my face, bro.
Yeah, you did send me the video.
I was just that's genuine, just I love the brother, and then I love what you're doing, and how it impacts other people. And from producer stance, that I say, if I'm going to produce a hip hop song, if at the end of the song I'm not dancing and wanting to dance, back to the drawing board.
Absolutely.
If I'm gonna do a reggae song, if I don't want to be, back to the drawing board. And the element that you had planned to display amongst the airways and everything came across so clear.
Thanks,
and it hit us right in the spot.
Man, and honestly, I felt it was my responsibility, especially for DC, because DC held me down so strongly. I mean, from Mayor Bowser calling a couple times just to say how proud she was, how much she loved it.
Wow.
And I didn't do it for fans. I did it for the home team, the musicians, the circle, the Bohemian Cavern crew, the whole U Street mirrors.
Yes.
Like that's who I did it for.
Gotcha.
Because if you all didn't dig it, then that's it for it. You know what I mean? So I was like, I have to pay homage to people that have opened their doors. Shout out to Omrao Brown
absolutely.
for giving me one of my first stages. Shout out to John Chambers, Bloom Bars, where I had a residency for a year every Sunday. Just me and Offender Rhodes. Later, Steve Johnson. Shout out to Steve Johnson, drummer. He came and played with me, but that's who I was thinking about.
Gotcha.
Because I feel like all those people, I was on the backs of those people.
Gotcha.
And so if I can make them proud, then I've done something good.
Oh, man, job well done, brother. Job well done. It's a question. So what do you like, or what is your favorite thing about being an artist?
The freedom of expression and having complete autonomy of my time. And I may not be monetarily rich at the moment, but I am filthy rich in time. I'm very wealthy with my time because I can do pretty much what I want when I want.
Got it.
And that's a freedom that people that have lots of money wish they had.
Got it.
Right? And I love the fact that I have a bird's eye view into spiritual matters because like we were talking about earlier, the life of the artist is not the life of an ordinary person.
Right.
I feel like we have been gifted to see the world from a more benevolent standpoint.
Right.
And that's what I love most, that I can hear a car horn and be able to tell the interval of the two notes,
Absolutely.
right? Or if a song is playing and the door creaks, I'm like, oh, yo, that was a five of the, you know
Right,
what I'm saying?
exactly. Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes.
So, like,
Trust me, look, when I started truck,
Yeah.
and the chime, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the Ableton or whatever we needed?
right?
Let's record it.
And for someone that doesn't know that, it just goes completely over their head. And I'm like, yo, that horn did like a tritone.
Exactly.
And I'm like, can you hear that? And
Right,
they're just sitting there like, you know, they're at the light, or when the sirens go by, like the ambulance, I'm like, yo, like that's
Right.
crazy. The whole Doppler shift, how your ear travels and things like that.
Absolutely.
So if I couldn't have that, if I was completely ignorant to that, I'd be a completely different person.
Absolutely.
Right? Because it makes you more patient. It makes you more present to know that there's tones in everything. The way your engine hums. So, oh yeah, that's F sharp. Yeah, that's cool. And I would like harmonize with, you know what I mean?
Right.
Sure that I'm stuff that you do.
Oh,
but
man.
like,
But
so that's the luxury of
But
it.
the thing about it is, you're bringing out such a dynamic of artistry, and like you said, like artists, how we think and how we're wired.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the flip side of it is, then what is it that you dislike? If you had any dislikes about being an artist?
I'm not as diligent as I should be. I can be lackadaisical. I'm not as focused as I'd like to be. Because, being an artist, it's like you're getting things from everywhere. And I'm pulled in a lot of different directions. And I wish I was a bit more diligent and a bit more calculated about actually putting it down. So having, of course, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So it's like, because I have so much at my disposal, it's kind of hard to hold to one thing.
Gotcha.
Because it's singing, it's playing the piano, it's producing, it's writing books, it's doing this, it's doing that.
Right.
So I would like to be a bit more focused.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then you just pulled out another thing. Good gracious, I didn't have that in my little notes for today. But you did do a book not long ago, and
I was published about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The name of the book is Just in Case: Embracing the Pilgrimage to Self-Awareness.
Absolutely. I got my copy at the crib, y'all. Don't trip. I'm one of the first ones to get it.
So it's on Amazon, it's on Kindle, it's gotten all 5-star reviews, and it's really just a daily reminder that you're amazing wherever you are in your life. Because a lot of people have issues with self-help books, but one of the comments was saying that it's like getting genuine advice from a close friend.
Got it.
So check that out. And
Absolutely.
I pray it blesses you,
Yes, indeed. Y'all hear that? Y'all need to check that out.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. What is the title of it one more time?
Just in Case.
Just in Case.
If you go on Amazon and put in my name, where obviously all the voice stuff comes up.
Gotcha.
But if you put in Just in Case, that comes up as well.
So I know, so when I got the book, I know I put that like right on my nightstand.
Yeah.
And I told you, I said, that would be what I would read
Yeah.
first thing in the morning.
Wow.
And when I finished the book, it was like, you can tell, what do they say, every 28, it takes 28 days, 30 days to form a habit.
Yeah.
So I could tell the sense of just how I saw things and how I looked at myself and was like, okay, you know what? I got the breath of life today. And
should be grateful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow,
So, you
wonderful.
never know how the small things that we do, how we think of small things, or moreover than that, is transparent and being vulnerable, because you had to be in a certain place to even let that come through you.
Oh, absolutely, man.
You know?
if you I feel like if you have the antidote, you had to have lived the sickness or the illness.
Gotcha.
Right? And that book was really cathartic journaling to myself.
Gotcha.
Right? So I figured if this helped me, then maybe it'll help somebody else. So that's where the book, that's where it came from. Yeah.
That's really amazing, brother. And I'm so thankful that we have not only the ability to be able to talk through like the situations that we've gone through in our life, but we have a opportunity and the tools to make it melodic.
Yeah.
And be creative.
Right.
Or in works of written art that people compel it. Because like you said, like being us, and being, when I say us, I mean artists, and I'm sure artists all over the place can attest to that. Sometimes we're misunderstood because of the music, you know, like if you don't know where it came from,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why I look a lot at. I think about people who do instrumental music. All we hear is the music, but we don't know where they were because there's no words to it.
Right.
You know, so that's why I'm not just. I embrace all the genres of music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's something to get out of everything. I look at, I was thinking about like country music the other day. I said, I'm gracious. I said, the storytelling and the clarity of the storytelling that they do within the time frame or within the confines of a quote unquote song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Has a bigger impact than just, you know, that's why I was able to cross the different age barriers.
Yeah.
Racial.
Because you can relate, and, you know, the artist, sometimes we have to live through pain, that we have to take on, you know, issues, societal, whatever, to be able to make that music.
Got it.
And it comes from a very, very painful place, you know, and that's why we're often misunderstood, or we're melancholy, or even in some ways like bipolar, because we're living through pressures, because we're the outlet, we're the instrument, right? And so we have to take on, you know, even, you know, spirituality is your thing. Jesus had to take on the sins of the world. Right. So that he could overcome the world, right? So that's a responsibility that we have, and it's not always easy. Right. You know, you sing, I mean, blues.
Yeah.
You sing through that pain. Yeah. And that's the way that you kind of deal with it. I have to take it on, and then I have to translate it, then I have to put it out again. Right. So I'm kind of like the funnel of what's going on, and our responsibility is to take that, mold it, package it, and put it out to the world.
Absolutely. I know, like what they say, people have testimonies and things of that nature. It's different to be able to identify the test that you went through before you can,
of course.
You know, and it comes, a lot of times it comes with some tears. The ones from broken heart, and also some tears of joy.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
What is one of the main things that you think that you had to overcome to get to at least to this point where you know, are comfortable? And if you're listening, on DC radio, then you can't see it. If you're watching it live, then you see that Terrence has a new look, new music. You know, we saw the post the other day, brother.
Yeah.
So
Good grief.
What's the
man? You know, my hair was a huge part of my career. I mean, especially it was a part of my aesthetic on The Voice, which has 15 million views an episode. I mean, that's like Super Bowl numbers. Right. And so I was kind of known for that, right?
Gotcha.
But it got to a point for me where people saw that before they saw me.
Got it.
Like they would look at me, and it was such a novel thing to see. They would not look at me in my face. They would look up at me.
Got it.
And they would try to decide, first of all, what it is.
Got it. Right.
Secondly, whether they like it or not. I've had people say wild things to me about my hair, or they would stretch their hair like, "Hey, can I?" And I'm like, "All right, you know,
gotcha,
I'm not an animal,
right, exactly,
like, relax,
exactly,
Sarah." But and honestly, for me, it was just time. I had my hair 21 years.
Got it.
And about 2 weeks ago, you know, without any quorums, I was like, "Yo, I've had it."
Today's the day.
And I just cut it.
Yeah.
And I'm still adjusting. And, I was telling Malika that it's really something that has put me in the next kind of chapter of my life. I let that go. I'm getting older now. I'll be 40 in about a year and a half.
Wow.
And so for me, it's kind of a new transition. And I like it. I'm
Absolutely, brother.
I still got my hood on.
No.
I'm not fully ready. You know what I mean?
No, but even when you posted it on social media, even the responses from people.
Yeah, yo, shout out to everybody that commented. I mean, you all really helped me be more comfortable.
Got it.
Because, the likes were up in the thousands, the comments were hundreds, and everybody was supportive. So shout out to everyone. I'm not always able to reply to every single comment, but I appreciate you guys because it helped me through that transition. So shout out to all of you.
Absolutely. Well, listen up, you all. We're here on Chopping It Up with Chook here on DC Radio. And I want to play another song. We've been talking about just the ups and downs of just being an artist, just of being who we are. Sometimes we're misunderstood and all that good stuff. So you did another song on there that was called Tell Me Something Good. So if you don't mind, I would like the people to trust and believe. So once you see a homegrown person on any of the platforms that we see on social media, on network TV, on regular TV, find the place where you can to support. And when I say support, I mean take a look at the concept and everything that they're there for. We'll be having a little challenge here in DC with our Redskins, but I'm still a Redskin fan. So a Washington football team fan.
Yeah.
So for those, I'm still a fan. We're gonna try to get it together, but find it in yourself to go out and support the home team, because the thing about it is you have a lot of people that might be born and raised in your area, but because of the lack of support, next thing you know, when they're out or get a platform, they claim somewhere else. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's a reality of things. And so I'm thankful for the opportunity even here at DC Radio to have a platform that is where I grew up.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? 7th Street, you know what I'm saying? Kennedy Playground used to, back in the day when Old Street Market, was there. Not just
I remember the 7th Street spot.
Exactly. I used to work at Shabazz Barbershop and all of that stuff. So I'm bona fide DC and continue to support each other. That's what's really, really important. I want to get into this song a little bit. Terrence did a version of Tell Me Something Good on The Voice. And here it is on Chopping It Up with You.
Feeling inside, but I've got something that's shown up, set your stuff on fire. And you refuse to put anything before your pride. Tell me that you like it, yeah. Oh, tell me something good. Tell me that you like it, yeah. Oh, tell me something good. Tell me that you like it, yeah. Oh,
Tell me something good. Mr. Terrence Cunningham. Brother, I got a question. So what does your creative process look like? What does your creative process look like?
Well, with that song in particular, shout out to Paul Merkovich, who is the music director of The Voice. Mm-hmm. And we were in rehearsals and we ran it a couple of times. And he was saying, you know what, man, I don't think there's enough of you in this song.
Gotcha.
So that's where that intro came in.
Got it.
So he said, try to revoice maybe the intro because it doesn't have the Terrence flair, mm-hmm, right? He said, it sounds great, but you're singing it kind of as it goes, but let's have some fun musically. And our rehearsals were always nuts. Like normal rehearsal for The Voice is 30 minutes. My rehearsals were an hour and a half.
Gotcha.
Because they let me come in and MD. So I just really try to sit down and pull from things I've learned, clearly playing gospel throughout. Mm-hmm. You pull from every gospel is really like a cornucopia of every style of music, right? So I just try to run what I've learned, things I've been inspired by, and try to put it all in the same songs.
Man, and when I tell you, an amazing, amazing job. I was listening to the voicings in that intro. Tell me something good. I said, brother, that is great.
Yeah.
That is absolutely great.
Yeah, man.
So, name one. What if you can name three?
Okay.
But between 1 to 3 songs that in your lifetime that have impacted you.
Okay. Ooh, that's always hard. It's like trying to get your top 5.
Right, exactly.
It's so hard for artists to do that because it all depends on the mood.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Well, name one.
What's
one that comes to mind right off the break?
Shape of My Heart, Sting.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anything, Sting. Fields of Gold, Practical Arrangement. I mean, he's my idol.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got
I
it.
don't think Sting has ever made a mistake in his life.
I mean,
musically.
And the thing about it is people hear us on the different platforms that we play now.
Yeah.
But like for me, The Way You Are, Billy Joel, I can sit and watch him play that song and sing that like just time and time again, you know.
Yeah.
Then later on, once I got introduced to like fusion music, like that Gotta Match with Chick Corea, like all of that, you know what I mean? So it's just like, and the thing about it is, we know it's 12 notes from octave to octave.
Right.
And just to hear what everybody can talk about
it's 12 notes. And that's something that is really kind of mind-blowing. That is the same 12 notes. And
over and over.
They manipulate them. It just gives, credence to how far music can go.
Absolutely.
12 notes, and it's infinite, literal infinite possibilities within that. Yeah.
So, Terrence, I would not dare have you in this studio setting, and we got any kind of instruments around us, and this is another version of, another portion of Chopping It Up with Chook, where me and my guest, we chop it up on instruments or behind the microphones, you know what I'm saying, in a musical, creative nature.
Word.
So let's see
what we got.
Yes, indeed. What's on your heart today?
We can do we do a little piece of this thing.
I keep your picture beside my bed. And I still remember everything you said. Always thought our love was alright. I guess I was wrong. Always thought you'd be by my side, mama. Now you're gone. 'Cause all in our paper, what we had was good. And how come you don't come? You don't call me mama. Girl, you gotta try. Down on my knees, begging you, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Terrence Cunningham. Brother, listen, it's not even enough time for us to be able to.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, yes, you have been experiencing live and direct here on Choppin It Up with Chook. Man, that just brings people, and like, I wish people could understand, like, just the atmosphere. Like, it's a different kind of communication.
Yeah, man.
You know, we're not trying to,
Yeah. Wow, man, that was fun, man.
Yes, that was fun.
We have to put that down,
Listen, bro. Unplug.
I'm about to come to the crib.
Listen quickly.
Yeah.
What was the show that used to be? They used to have all the unplugged stuff.
Planet Groove?
Was it Planet Groove?
On BZ?
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
Condition show?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And those were some of those shows that like changed our concept of how we.
Bro, I used to record those on VHS. When I would get home from high school, I would run up and put the VHS in the VCR.
Yes, indeed.
Before there was DVDs and
How
Blu-rays and all
about it?
that, and I would study them. Man,
Yes.
yeah.
Those are times that like, I mean, and they try to, you know, and thank goodness for like YouTube and all that stuff.
Right.
But it was different, like.
Because we didn't have that then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I remember rushing home and I used to see, it was Kids Incorporated back then.
Yeah, shout out to Rashawn Patterson.
He took the words out of my mouth. I was young. I was like, man, he looks like me and he's on TV.
Yeah.
Not knowing years later, you know, we'd be working with him.
Right, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
up close and personal. So how can people continue to contact you and stay in contact with you?
Well, my social media is a friend to the world, all one word, and most of the stuff is there. Obviously, you can Google Terrence Cunningham, and the YouTube, there's a YouTube channel that you can find stuff there. There's stuff on Amazon. All of the songs I've done on The Voice in the studio are streaming on every platform, from Apple Music, Spotify. It's everywhere.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I want to do. And this just came to my mind. I think I want to do, at some point, like a Chopping It Up with Chook. Not like a concert, but like a big thing where like a lot of the guests that I've had, because like while you're playing, I was like, man, this is great here. But I would love to see how this looks and how this comes across in front of a room full of people.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's easy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like in DC and like in the DMV in our area, what's some of the venues that you like performing at?
Oh, man. Well, sadly, it's not there anymore, but of course our favorite was Bohemian Cavern and Live.
Right.
Shout out to Omrao Soto. Because I live bi-coastally, so I'm not in DC a lot, but when I'm home, he always opens his door. So shout out to Soto.
Got you.
That's
I'm
one
going
of
to be
my
running to you out there, too, in the West Coast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, and traveling is so good because we're able, from us being born and raised here, we're able to go outside of our own backyard and go and see how other things are being done, other people's takes on what is industry standard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And be able to bring those things back home.
Absolutely.
I remember back, like when I was doing the Cisco thing, that was 2000.
Yeah.
That was that long ago.
Yeah.
But people, you know, they were like, you know, he done left home. I was like, what they didn't know was I was going out there and experiencing stuff like in technology. Like this was before we had laptops and laptops was the thing. They were sampling stuff into like the Akai S6000, you know what I'm saying? And it was one like, and the MPCs literally ran the whole show where when the song would go to the next song, they did this, it's called MIDI bulk dump. And you all on Chopping It Up with Chook, I'm going to have Tech Day too, where I have some producers coming in who are, you know, whose resumes are not only on point, but their calendars are still current.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they're doing a lot and to bring the information and the awareness of, if you want your show to go on point, you need to do this.
Yeah.
And I know, you know, there might be a little learning curve, but this is similar to this. This is similar to this. So that was what I was going out there. So when I came back home, people was like, "Oh man, Chook is on point. He was doing the MPC 2000 live at the show and all that stuff." That was stuff that I learned being in California.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where rehearsals were going on.
Right.
And then when the tour was over, I came back home, and everybody here that I was around in the DMV, I was like, "Yo, well, come through. Let me show you what I learned on this."
Yeah,
show you what, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And continue to share the love.
Yeah.
So I am very just excited that you were able to even open up this lane on the show today. This is only episode 2, brother.
Yeah, man. This has been, an absolute privilege and a pleasure.
Oh man, only the beginning.
Oh, for sure.
So we're gonna we're getting it together. And I'm definitely gonna have to have you come back.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're gonna be talking off the air anyway.
Yeah.
We got this production stuff. And
Yeah.
You just played some notes over there. I was like, yeah, brother, so
yeah. There's some conversations that need to happen for sure.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So we're coming to a close here on the Chopping It Up with Chook show. But I want you to stay invigorated and keep your eyes open, because I will be back with you with a surprise for episode 3 as well. So today, we have not only had a chance to chop it up with an amazing, amazing artist, Terrence Cunningham, but also continue to follow him and understand that we are here to open up the different questions and challenges about the entertainment industry, the music. They call it the music game. And I look at game as a competition based on specific rules.
Right.
So we're here to sharpen up our rules of engagement on Chopping It Up with Chook.
Absolutely.
So to all of you all, you can stay in contact. You can always search me, Chooky Caldwell, on all social media. Be on the lookout here, what we're doing here at DC Radio. We got so many surprises coming up and coming your way. Thank you all so very, very much. And I will be seeing you, and I will be talking to you all very soon here on Chopping It Up with Chook on DC Radio.
I've got sunshine on a cloudy day, and when it's cold outside, yes, I got the money. Well, I guess you say.
In DC, for DC. DC Radio, 96.3 HD4 and DCRadio.gov.